everybody. I know I'm running a little bit late. How dare I? It's not like I had to get tea or something. I had to make sure that it's nice and hot and filled with honey because I'm going to be doing a lot of talking today. So let's go ahead and get this up. Okay. So for those of you who are new to the stream, hi, I'm Kelsey Crawford. I make comics. Hi, Jessica. Good to see you again. She's one of my regulars. She's lovely. Also, shout out to her. She's one of my supporters on Ko-fi. You can find my Ko-fi through my Linktree, link on the screen, and also in the doobly-doo. Yes, I say doobly-doo.
I like it.
Roommate off screen. Also, if you hear begging cats, I apologize in advance. We got some, what is it? PF Chang? Panda Express. And they like to beg for their chicken because they love chicken. Also, Jessica says hi.
Hi.
She says hi back. Okay, so there's a lot of stuff that I wanted to cover in this particular stream because there's just a lot that's been changing. So I'll just go ahead and get right into it. Biggest change is that for those of you who knew, I worked with Neverending for the last year, working with them in the capacity of being a character creator, a character designer, if you will, and working with them on making assets for the character builder app. Because Neverending is a character builder app with aspirations to go into a scene builder so that people can not only make characters, but put them into animatics and videos. That's the aim with Neverending. And I signed on with them last year around March to work with them on the art team. Yesterday was my last day with the team as a member of the team. I will still be working with them on the freelancer or contractor basis, but I am not a member of the team anymore. There's reasons for that. I'm not going to get into too many details about it, but long story short is that there's other creative projects that I want to do. And for me, Neverending was kind of getting in the way of a lot of that. So I wanted to just step aside and work on my own things. Some of those things are things that I want to talk about in this stream and also show to you because there's so many creative little projects that I'm so excited about. Well, first things first, before I get into showing the new stuff, for folks who backed me on Kickstarter, whether you backed The Legend of Jamie Roberts Volume 1 or you backed Less Than Secret, a Cryptid Anthology, now that I've left Neverending, both of those are going to be progressing a lot faster in terms of reward fulfillment. Less Than Secret is actually being coordinated by my buddies Ben and Rainer. So they're doing most of the brunt work for that, which helps. So I only have to worry about doing commissions for the folks who backed and got commissions with Less Than Secret, a Cryptid Anthology, because that was one of the rewards that was offered. And so that leaves me with more time to fulfill stuff for The Legend of Jamie Roberts, Volume 1, at a faster scale, which is really nice for you if you backed the project. And in fact, I will be shipping out the first round of rewards starting on Monday. I will be likely putting together the envelopes and stuff today in between working on this page of The Legend of Jamie Roberts. Now, I'll go ahead and say this now while I'm thinking about it, because The Legend of Jamie Roberts is my webcomic. I've been updating it once a week on Wednesdays pretty consistently for the last 2.5 years. Things with Neverending over the last couple of weeks got super duper bananas So I ended up having to get into my buffer of pages for Jamie Roberts, which means that now I don't have a buffer, which kind of has me a little bit panicky. So I will be working on the page that's slated to go up on Wednesday. I'll be working on that today. That also means that I will be taking requests for who you would like me to put into the crowd scene, because one of the other reasons I'm panicking is because it's a crowd scene. I'll go ahead and show you. You see this? There's the entire bottom panel. Apparently when I do that, it removes my audio, and I don't want that. So yeah, I'm just going to leave me on the edge here so that you can still hear me. But you see this panel right here? You see this? There's supposed to be a lot more people, and I still need to draw all of those people. Yeah, there's a lot. So I'll be working on that today. So I will take requests if you would like me to just squeeze in people into the crowd. That said, though, if you want to see yourself in the crowd scene, I'm going to need reference materials and for you to head on over to Ko-fi. There's actually a commission slot for folks. If you give like $20, I will draw you directly into a crowd scene in Jamie Roberts. But that's for folks who want to be drawn into the comic. If you just want to shout out in the comments, like, draw the Hulk or whatever, like, I'm not going to charge you for that. or whatever fictional character that you would like me to like creatively add in there in some way. But if you yourself want to be added into the crowd scene, that's going to be $20. Go to ko-fi.com/KelseyD Crawford. Check the commissions tab. There's more info there. Excuse me. I need my scrunchie. My hair is just wild. Put Bree in the crowd. I'll see if I can squeeze her in. I think I know a place to put her. Alrighty. Yeah, Jessica made the suggestion, put Bree in the crowd. I know just where to put her. So we're going to zoom in here. I'm going to go back into pencils and turn the ink layer off for a bit and get into here, this layer. Eyes aren't necessary, but there we go. We have a sleeping Bree. Okay, I was thinking it was that layer, but I wanted to be sure before I started erasing anything. Boop. Okay. So we got Bree curled up into a little ball and chilling over by the pillar over here. My hair has been wild since last year. I feel that, my dude. I feel that on my head. Yeah, so very cute. Thank you. Actually, while we're talking about cats, I'll go ahead and mention a little side project I started a little while back called Bree Boutique. I'll bring up my link tree because the link tree has a link to Bree Boutique. Bree Boutique is something I started as a little side project to just draw cute little cats. I'll go ahead and bring up some cats while I'm thinking about it so that you can see what kind of stuff I do for Bree Boutique. These are big files, though, because I do a lot of these for Redbubble. Redbubble has very specific requirements for the size of their files. They can get pretty big. Ooh, this is a work in progress that I'm working on. Ninja cats. Yes. This is black canvas with white paint because I've been wanting to draw ninja cats for a while. When lockdown started, I had my wife chop off half of my hair. So much nicer while working from home, right? I have perfected the art of taking clippers to the sides and back of my head, and I just shave my head whenever the sides and back of my head get too long. The hair, I mean. Yes, stealthy felines. So this is the kind of art that you would see for my little side project, Bree Boutique. I call it Bree Boutique because I named it after Bree and Boo Boo, two little kitty muses that we have living in this here apartment. In fact, let me see if I can get Boo Boo on camera. There she is. Hi, Boo Boo. Hi, Boo Boo. You're on camera. What you gonna do? Run away. That's what she's going to do. She's going to run away. She is one of the muses for Bree Boutique. But the title character is, of course, my cat Bree. But I am calling it that because it's just cat designs. Because I love cats. The cute Boo Boo. Boo Boo is awfully cute. She's also, between the two of them, she's the most chill. Like, I mean, every once in a while she'll get an upset tummy, but other than that, she's just one of the most chill cats, which really helps because Bree is nothing but energy. Like, we have a trash goblin and a ball of chaos for cats. But they are my muses for Bree Boutique, and I draw lots of cute little cat arts for Bree Boutique. Probably one of my favorites, if I can get this to work. Boop. This, I love this so much. It's just a pattern of flying kitties. Like, this was the kind of style that I started out with for Bree Boutique. And it has since evolved because, like, as it turns out, the more often that you draw particular things, the more that certain ideas will resonate with you. Like, I actually started a little series of little witch cats. It started with this one. As it loads, there it is. I started doing a little series of little kitties like this. Just little witch kitties. Just being awfully cute. So I'm doing an entire series of these. Starting with like LGBTQ themed ones. Like I have one that's painted with the lesbian pride colors. This particular one is not painted with any pride colors in mind, though I wouldn't be surprised if there was a pride flag somewhere that had these colors. But I do have the genderqueer pride one. That's this one. Painted with the genderqueer pride colors, minus the book. So I started doing an entire series of these sorts of cats. And I do post these on a Instagram for Bree Boutique, which you can find at instagram.com/Bree Boutique. And that's boutique spelled BOOTIQUE. Because Boo Boo. But that's at linktree/KelseyD, the easiest way to find it there. Man, chat is blowing up. Everybody catching up today. I'll find a way to squeeze him in. I saw your comment, Alex. I have an idea of how to squeeze him in there, so I'll go ahead and work on that. I love the laser pointer wizard kitty. I do too. It's one of my favorite designs. I'm gonna do more like that one. But that's Brie Boutique. Now that my time at Neverending has wrapped up, I'll actually be able to draw more often for Brie Boutique. I had the project on hiatus for the entire month of April because April was just bonkers with Kickstarter campaigns. But now I'm back to drawing for Brie Boutique on a regular basis. That said, there is another little side project that will be starting up soon. And I'll get into how soon later. But the other project that I want to work on is for folks who knew me from Validation, the webcomic about a trans girl and her little stuffed friend, Mr. Dino and Friends. CB and I have been talking about getting a product line for Mr. Dino and Friends for the longest time. And I talked this over with CB, and she gave me the okay to do this. So what I'm going to do is the same way that Brie Boutique has an Instagram and a Redbubble shop, I will be doing the same for Mr. Dino and Friends. So Mr. Dino and Friends will be getting their own Instagram and their own Redbubble shop. Still figuring out the logistics for the Redbubble shop, but the Instagram will be coming pretty soon. And the kinds of designs that you'll see include stuff like this. I want to turn on the background so that you can see the white borders that are going on here. I actually figured out how to achieve this look with the graphic behind Meep here. Meep is the little baby velociraptor friend of Mr. Dino. It's adorable. I might go into this particular image and add some like highlights and shadows to make it really, really pop. But I just think he's cute. I also used him as a basis for a custom brush. I figured out how to make custom brushes in Clip Studio Paint, and I love them. I love them so much. Shout out to my buddy Jeff from Neverending, because he showed me how to make custom brushes in Clip Studio Paint. So let's just get a new canvas going. We're going to have this at 300 DPI, and we're going to make it 2,000 pixels wide, 2,000 pixels high, so that you can see. Okay, this is the Mr. Dino brush. All the little Mr. Dinos. And this is the Mr. Dino and Friends brush. It's pretty great. There's other custom brushes that I have made too, like, let's see. I made one for skulls, and then I made another. There were a couple of skull iterations that I made because of some tapestry designs for the Legend of Jamie Roberts. So I had to go into that and do that. But I also figured out a hatching brush that doesn't look like garbage. Like, look at this. Oh, yes, I figured out how to make this, and I love it. I love it so much. Yes, most awesome brush ever. Yes. Oh my gosh, I love them. I am looking forward to all of the patterns that I can make with the Mr. Dino brush. and the Mr. Dino and Friends brush. Like, it's going to be so much fun making all of these things. And I will be making some custom brushes pertaining to Brie Boutique for some patterns that I have in mind. It is going to make making patterns so much easier. Yeah, there's a lot with Clip Studio Paint that I have learned working at Neverending. So I am really glad for my time at Neverending because of that. I have learned so many ways to make custom brushes. How does making custom CSP brushes work? That's something I could get into right now, but I think that could be a subject for its own video. That way other people can reference it. I'll go into a little bit of the basics, or at least the method that I was taught. The method that I was taught was you go into these pattern brushes, or decoration is what Clip Studio Paint calls them. So decoration. One of the easiest ways to get there is to hit the B as in boy button 3 times, and that takes you right to that tool. And it'll take you to this little window in the upper, I have it in the upper left, but you can arrange all of these tools however you want to. I keep mine in the upper left. And it'll have different subtools, like there's an effect brush for sparkles. I did actually get a few different brushes from the starfish face, like the Dorito effect. And there's also a star effect that they have. I'm just going to save that, and we're actually going to bring up a new canvas so that I can not affect this too much, but here we go. The way that I was shown how to do a custom brush roughly is you find a brush similar to the effect that you want to get. So let's say I want to make a duplicate of the Mr. Dino brush. So that entails going into this brush, Skull 1. This is a custom brush that I already made, but I use this as a basis for the Mr. Dino brush because of what it does. So you just take this, and there's a little button next to the trash can that says create copy of currently selected subtool. You can also right-click the tool and select duplicate subtool. There's a lot of different things that you can do with this menu, but you can duplicate it. We're going to call it test brush. Oop. And then we are going to get into this button here. There's a little wrench button under all of these little details for the brush. You hit the wrench, and it takes you into this menu. And this is where you start to customize the brush. If you want to customize the brush tip, you just go to brush tip. You click this icon, delete, and then you can select your materials. And the material is what customizes it. So let's, for the sake of the test brush, we're going to select Bloodstain. And to really mess with it, yeah. Let's make it red, make it obvious that it's a bloodstain thing. There we go. Okay. You can also change the application, like where it applies. This is more obvious for something like the Mr. Dino brush. Then you can also change the brush density. You can change the angle. It's not very obvious with this particular brush tip, the change of the angle, but if you had the Mr. Dino brush, let's go ahead and get a Mr. Dino figure so that you can see how this looks. And I'll show you how to register materials when it comes to the tutorial for making brushes. So delete the layer, Zoom in. So direction of applying, I have it at horizontal right now, and it has this effect. If I change it to vertical, it has that effect. There's usually more of a prominent effect. It could be the stroke is what's changing it up. Boop. But yeah, there's all kinds of ways that you can customize this thing. Gap is the spacing between the spots. So you can have just the one dot. You can have two, which makes this kind of monstrosity. But I prefer the one. And then you can change the gap here. But I like it at 150 because then all of the figures are actually properly separated. There we go. But I can go into that in a proper tutorial stream. I have never used this tool, and now I think I'm going to use it all the time, right? There are so many tools that are tucked away in Clip Studio Paint that you don't realize are there until somebody points them out to you, and then you're like, oh my God, I feel like a god. So yeah, I'll have a stream that's just about brushes and customizing brushes and all of that stuff. Sharing what I know. I am not an expert. I am still new to a lot of this. So keep that in mind with these brushes. So yeah, all of that is to say, I've been making some new brushes and making some new patterns for Brie Boutique and Mr. Dino and Friends. The goal is to update both of those on a more consistent schedule now, but they're going to alternate. So 1 week, there will be a new Brie Boutique design on Redbubble. The next week, there will be a new Mr. Dino and Friends design on Redbubble, so on and so forth. That's the plan right now. Catching up. I hate doing any kind of shading and hatching, mostly because I'm not very good at it. Having texture brushes could mean much less of a headache. That's why I made the hatching brush that I did. And I will get into how I made that particular hatching brush in the brush tutorial. I might as well do that next week since we're talking about it so much. But that's why I made the hatching brush that I did. And I will show you that here. Hatch line, and we're going to make this white. Huh. Okay. It didn't show up here. Hold on. Oh, that could be because I have it programmed for the brush to only be in black. So yeah, that's what it is. But yeah, that's why I have this hatching brush. Oh, this has saved my life because I was working on a comic commission that is entirely in black and white. I'm not going to get too in depth about that one because it's part of an anthology project that's still a work in progress. But I was working on black and white pages for that anthology project. And I was like, okay, I have to indicate shading without using gray tones, which means using hatches. And for most of it, I drew the hatch lines myself, and then I went, okay, I need to make a brush. So I ended up making that tool, and it made my life so much easier whenever I got to the later pages of that particular project. Saved my hand. I used a brush in Autodesk Sketchbook to create stars. Still haven't tweaked it quite right, but it makes random stars. That's really handy too. I ended up using a lot of the star tools when making the pages for that anthology project in question because it was set in space. And I was like, oh, I need stars. So I ended up using one of the star tools a lot. Again, I will do a tutorial / walkthrough of how to make custom brushes in Clip Studio next week. This will be a good segue to talk about my live stream schedule. Now that I'm not working at Never Ending, and now that I'm recovered from streaming so often for Less Than Secret and promoting Less Than Secret on Kickstarter, that means I can get back to doing just once a week live streams. So that's what I'm going to do. That said, I'm looking into whether I'm going to think about this, about whether I want to live stream simultaneously on YouTube and Twitch, or if I just want to be on one platform or the other. I don't want to get too dedicated to one platform or another, because you never know when a platform is just going to decide, nah, I'm not going to showcase your stuff anymore. But still, there's value in live streaming, which is why I do it. I should draw some of these crowd requests now that I'm thinking about it. I will show how I did this effect later. So I'll just leave this up in a separate tab, and I will get back to this and draw the crowd scene. I actually have, believe it or not, I have a sketch in my sketchbook of an alternate take on Cell. I think it's in this one. Let me flip. Nope, it's the sketchbook before this one. This is why I keep all of my sketchbooks. Because it makes referencing my stuff way easier. This is also why I do a lot of anatomy studies in my sketchbooks, so that I have something to easily reference. Aha, there he is. Okay. I am going to do some sort of variation. I want to remove this for a second so that I can show this off. For the crowd scene in Jamie Roberts, I'm going to do some variation on this design. Since Alex made the request to draw Perfect Cell, or Mr. Perfect Cell, into the crowd scene of Jamie Roberts, I'm going to do a variation on this, because this, I came up with this after thinking, what if Dragon Ball, but with more classic Chinese armor looks? And I was like, well, the first character to do that to is Mr. Perfect Cell, obviously, because he's entirely in armor. So I did this variant. So I think I'm going to do a variation of this and put it into Jamie Roberts, since Alex made the request. Believe it or not, no one that knows you doubts that you have a cell handy already. I have so many cells handy already. Like, I have this guy. I have other sketches in the sketchbook. I have like this. I have like another figure. I have a freaking plushie of Imperfect Cell. People who know me know how utterly obsessed I am with this show. Okay, like Alex knows this because she is my roommate and she has been subjected to many rants from me. But to be fair, I hear her ramble about My Hero Academia, so it evens out. Also, hi CB. Yes, popping in to say hi. Happy to see more live streams. Well, I'm happy to see you in the chat. That's awesome. Ben. Alex. Ben just called me a sellout. I'm putting that in my Tumblr bio. I'm just mad at myself that I didn't think of it first. But yeah, going back to art in particular, yes, Mr. Dino. Yes, he will be making an appearance in Instagram and Redbubble soon, figuring out the logistics for both. Okay. Anyway, back to drawing in the Clip Studios. We'll put him. The question is where to put him. Rough outline about here-ish. He's got broader shoulders than that, so. Okay. The biggest reason why I'm putting so much effort into this particular crowd scene in this page of Jamie Roberts is because this is the establishing shot for the next, oh gosh, I have to count the pages. I know it's the remainder of chapter 5, so I can tell you that much. For like the next 4 pages. This is the establishing shot for the next 4 pages. This is why I'm putting so much effort into this particular panel. I will throw this announcement back up for folks who are interested. If you would like to see yourself get drawn into the crowd scene, just head on over to ko-fi.com/KelseyD Crawford. Click on commissions. There is a spot for you to pledge like $20 to get yourself drawn into a crowd scene. There will be more crowd scenes after this one. So if you can't do it today, trust me, there will be more. Bonus ducks, Ben. Yep. You know what? I'll see about drawing in some ducks. Why not? This is the Apple Festival that I'm drawing right now, so... Drawing a nice big booty for Mr. Perfect Cell over here. I'm going to correct this hand position though. It's a little... Try flipping the canvas, see if that makes it easier. Which, by the way, for folks who do not know, there is a tool in the navigator that it's this little mirrored triangle. When you highlight it, it says flip horizontal, and it does this. It is marvelous, and I love it. Here we go. That works. Just going to erase some of these guidelines here. So otherwise, it's a little bit messy. There. Yeah, but I will throw this out there too. With my time at Neverending having come to a close, I can actually spend a couple of days building the buffer back up for Jamie Roberts, so I will be doing that for the next couple of days. It's just drawing pages. Oh, I remember you mentioning this in a meeting once. I overdrew a crowd scene one time and ran out of extras, so I added the robot from Trinary. Also, Trinary, really good mini comic / zine that you did. I also love that you did the binding with like copper wire. I know you said that it was a pain in the butt, but it was a really nice touch to that. Speaking of mini comics, I mentioned this in a Kickstarter update for The Legend of Jamie Roberts Volume 1. I'll announce it here. So one of the stretch goals for The Legend of Jamie Roberts Volume 1 was if we reached 40 backers for the project, then I would make The Legend of Azumi. And The Legend of Azumi was something I had an idea for because it gets name dropped in chapter 11, 10 or 11 of The Legend of Jamie Roberts. Because I have script for up to that point. I plan ahead as often as I can. Very important to plan ahead when you make webcomics for a living. Or at least whenever you do art for a living. So yeah, The Legend of Azumi gets name dropped in Jamie Roberts in like chapter 11. So I was like, ooh, how about I do that? Because that was something I actually wanted to make as a little mini comic of sorts, a little side project, because I really liked the notion of it. And the notion behind it was pertaining to super powerful spirits, which the powerful spirits in the world of Jamie Roberts are called Mokta. Their origins are revealed in chapters 6 and 7. Or at least the particulars of Mokta are revealed there. Like, they were name dropped in chapter 3 as a force of negative energy just to be reckoned with. The conceit of the world of Jamie Roberts is that people lived in harmony until the Mokta showed up and started causing chaos. The dragons, who were beings that resided in a supernatural world called the Way, saw the chaos that the Mokta were causing, moved from the Way into the world, and banished the Mokta out of the world and sent the Mokta into the Way. That was what dragons did in this world, in this cosmology. Now, Jamie and friends are a little skeptical of this because, I mean, up to this point, dragons have not been seen. The most supernatural force that has popped up is Pym. And even then, Pym is like, it could be written off as just a hallucination at this point. Pym being the guardian of a forest that they were passing by on their way to Yorub. Fun fact for folks who are interested, the town names in The Legend of Jamie Roberts are derivative of real world peoples from Africa. Like Yorub is taken from Yoruba. Maliwe is derived from Mali, which is just it's a nation, but it's also named after the Kingdom of Mali, which was a big driving force. For folks who are wondering, why is Timbuktu important? Timbuktu was the capital of the Mali Empire, and it was said to be like covered in gold and full of riches, and that's why all of the Europeans wanted to get to Timbuktu. Like, Crash Course did an entire episode about Mansa Musa and the Kingdom of Mali. Check it out. It's great. It's a good primer. That's a cool naming convention. Hey, I have to put my knowledge of African art history to use somehow. So that's what I'm doing. Yeah. And there's also the town of Zanibu, which I can't remember off the top of my head which group that is based off of. Leona is not directly from African art history in any way that I can think of off the top of my head. Leona is particular to it, which, you know, considering that Leona is a trade port, I think that's appropriate. It's the connecting point between the lands of Korith between the land of Korith and other outside nations. So I think it's appropriate that Leona is its own thing. Oh, while I'm thinking about it, now that I have some more free time, I will actually be updating the website of The Legend of Jamie Roberts with some new material. Like there will be character bios. Still figuring out an archive system, because this particular version of the website that I'm working with is coming up with an archive system a little tricky. So until I figure out a method, we'll figure out how to do the archives later. But I will be adding character bios. I will be adding a fan art section for folks who want to make fan art. I may even add like a coloring book page option for folks who want to download coloring book pages and color them and then post them online. So I might do that. So I think that would be cool. Okay. Referencing this. I actually picked this up from my comics making buddy, JD. But it's funny because JD claims that he got it from me. Drawing the pencils in different colors so that you can more easily distinguish all of the stuff that you're drawing. I was in the zone when I sculpted those shins. My goodness. Shins and calves. Okay. I actually have a spot brush, but this pencil doodle will get the idea across until I get to that stage. One of the things I'm toying around with is streaming video game playing on Twitch. I'm playing with this idea because seeing Ben do this is making me go, maybe I can branch out into that. But the only games that I would be interested in streaming are either Dragon Ball Fighters or stuff that I've already played through like a ton of times. And even then, I'm not entirely sure that I want to live stream me playing Dragon Ball Fighters because I've not come across any ladies or non-binary people playing Dragon Ball Fighters. It's mostly dominated by dude bros, and I don't necessarily want dude bros in my comments section trying to yell at me. So that's why I haven't moved forward on any plans on streaming yet. Because it's like, I already put up with a lot of crap. I don't want to put up with more. I used to do all my digital pencils in pure C, M, or Y, so printing them out and inking traditionally would be easier. That makes sense. For folks who prefer to ink traditionally, that's an option for you. There's an artist that I follow on Instagram That's the platform. He actually has a book on Kickstarter right now to get a collection of his sketches funded. Metzer, I think it is. I'm going to double check this and make sure that I get his name right. Yeah, he's on Instagram at cmetzner.com. That's his actual username. But I really like his stuff. Or I really like their stuff. But what they do is they pencil digitally, then they do a printout of it with making it look like either red or blue pencil, and then they will ink and color with Copic markers on top of that, which I think is a pretty cool method. But I don't do that because I've gotten the hang of inking digitally now. And there's a part of me that actually prefers inking digitally. I only really ink traditionally whenever I just need the exercise to do it. Do I want to give him that head crown or not? You know what? I think I'll give it to him, but I'm not going to make it as prominent. There we go. And for the poops and giggles, because Mr. Perfect Cell did what he did just to get fans ogling at him, and then he never got it. He just inspired so much fear. But really, he just needed some fangirls. It's just too bad that, he killed everybody. So for this particular iteration of Cell, we're just going to have him be like the guy that walks around in costume at a convention. We're going to have him be a cosplayer, just walking around and being ogled by fans. I'm going to move this figure down a little bit, though, and scale her up a bit. Okay. Here we go. I'm sorry, I just looked at the comments in the chat. This Cell's bishop hat means he can only fight diagonally. Yes, that is exactly what it means. I love your outfit. I totally ship you with Goku. Can I get a photo? Okay, I'm just going to throw this out. I'm going to throw this out there. So there's a YouTuber, Masako X. He also did the voice of Goku in Dragon Ball Z Abridged. His channel is like entirely dedicated to Dragon Ball Z, and Dragon Ball Super. Not so much GT. Nobody really talks about GT. But he did this video. He did a couple of videos with this particular fan art piece. I want to look up who did this fan art piece, but I'm pretty sure this fan art was made because of an offhand comment from Kaiser Neko. Kaiser Neko said, Goku and Cell are fight sexual. Like, they're hankering for a good fight 24/7. And then somebody must have heard this and took that conceit and just drew a thing of like Goku and Cell not doing anything other than gazing lovingly into each other's eyes. And I'm just like, you know, there are mighty vessels that ride on that ship. I'm not sure that I am one of them, but I see the appeal. But, you know, that comment of, does this mean he can only fight diagonally? This is probably why he made his Cell Games arena a checkerboard, or at least use the checkerboard pattern, even if he didn't color it as such. Like, they're all tiles. Because he can only move diagonally. Confirmed, this is the new canon. Ugh. How many people do you think I'm going to lose with all of this incessant babbling about Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z? Like, just how many? Excuse me. Ooh. Okay, I need to figure out the elbow placement for this character. So we're going to put their shoulder here, their wrist here. Draw the connecting line and then down. Okay. Yeah, that's honestly the easiest way to figure out elbow placement for a character. Here, I will start another character over here so that I can show you what I mean. So easiest way to figure out elbow placement is you draw the shoulder joint, draw the wrist joint, draw a line between the two, find the midpoint of that line, go down to about here. There you go, elbow placement. And for poops and giggles, we're going to make this guy Cloud. Because why not? Yeah, I try to keep in mind some hairstyling conventions that are more particular to particular African peoples, because hairstyles are indicative of a lot of things in particular African cultures. Like, some hairstyles even indicate what profession that you are. It gets that detailed. And I try to keep that sort of thing kind of in mind when coming up with hairstyles for people. Is, okay, this person is a baker. What would their hair look like? If you were going to lose them, you would have already. You bring up a good point. Talking about like how often I incessantly babble about Dragon Ball. Cloud and Cell. This is a cosplay convention. Well, this is just a train of thought that I go on, and it's probably the easiest way to fill out a crowd scene, regardless of like time period that you're looking at. Okay. You know what? I'm going to add, let me make sure that I'm drawing on the right layers for stuff. Yeah, I had to draw a perspective grid because there's just so much going on in this scene. Yeah. Top and bottom. Speaking of background, though, I was inking the background. Maybe I should finish that first before I go any further. But crowds. Let me finish my first train of thought. I was going to draw some kids on the steps over here. We're going to decrease the opacity of this. There we go. Because I need to be able to see what the heck I'm drawing. There are so many layers going on here. If only because it makes moving stuff around way easier. Yeah, that's okay. That's what I thought. Because like when I was inking in the steps, I changed the angles somewhat. So I'm going to have to keep that in mind whenever I ink this in later. Actually, I'm going to change the color of these pencils. And the easiest way for me to do that without completely drawing it over again is if you go over to where all the layer commands are, there is this grid looking thing. When you highlight it, it says lock transparent pixels. You click that. I'm going to change the brush color and change the brush. And then boom, it does this. I can bring this up in the tutorial stream next week. It just might be an entire tutorial stream of like, here are some tips and tricks that I picked up in Clip Studio. Here, I hope these help. Like, that'll be next week's stream. Okay, and then we're going to go back to lighter green so that I can get some details in. There we go. Okay. Sipping my tea. Also, while I'm thinking about it, there will be some changes to blog updates and what exactly I will be posting about on my website. Because I have a website, kelseydcrawford.com. For a while, I didn't exactly know what to do with it other than to just make it like a portfolio site. But I was talking with my older sister who does Twitching Eye Studios. And we were talking about blogging as a way of accountability. Because we have so many projects going on at once that just blogging about the progress that we're making is a good way to keep ourselves accountable on those projects. So that is what I will be doing. Is I will be blogging about all of this stuff and keeping you in the loop as to the progress of things. That's really neat. CSP does all kinds of awesome stuff. Doesn't it though? It's amazing. And I will talk about some of the stuff that I did learn in next week's stream. Like custom brushes, how to make custom brushes, how to make brush tips for those custom brushes, all of that stuff. And fiddling around with layers, changing line colors and things, like all of that. Also, there is another effect that I learned recently, which is how I made this graphic. I'll go ahead and show a little bit of that. New canvas. Yeah. Okay. So to get that effect, first I'm going to draw an ellipses. We're going to make the border white. Boom. To fill it in, I'm going to bring up the wand tool and have it refer to all layers. We're going to click the inside part. And then I'm going to hit G once to bring up the gradient tool. And for this, yeah, that's a good gradient for the purposes of this. Boop. Okay. And you go over to the layer properties and you see effect. You hit this circle. It brings up a border effect. You can change the edge color here. Right now it's white, but if I wanted it to be blue, I can make it blue, and it does that. I'll have it be a bit of a darker blue so that you can see better what it is that I did. So we have this circle, we have this effect. We're going to bring up the marquee tool by hitting M. We're going to select rectangle, and we're just going to select, and then we're going to hit the delete key. And it made a border for us because we had this border effect in place. Select another portion, delete. Select another portion, delete. Select another portion, delete. And all of these have borders. Look at this. Some of these secrets just feel illegal to know, you know? Thank you for taking care of that. Because I keep
grab the trash out of my room and take it out.
Okay. But that is how you get this effect. And if you want it to stay permanent, what you got to do is you go into the layer that you drew on, you right click it, and you select rasterize. And there you go. It saves the effect. I feel like you're giving us a DBZ outro preview of next week's episode. Will Kelsey talk about custom clip studio brushes. Tune in next time on Dragon Ball Kelsey. Next time on Dragon Ball Kelsey, Kelsey talks about clip studio brushes. Perfect. This is why I keep you around as a friend, Ben. But there we go. Yeah, I'll show this off again in the tutorial for next week. Oh, okay. Now we're not going to save the changes. We're going to go back into the crowd scene here and get back to drawing some stuff. Okay, we got the general figure. So let's draw another figure. Who would you like me to draw next? Let me know in the comments. I will give you whose line is it anyway points if it's not a Dragon Ball Z character. Sneak the Mothman in there somewhere. All right, I'm into it. Let's see where I can put him. I think I know a spot. Well, I know a couple of spots where he can fit. Ooh! Wait, I've got it. I've got it. I've got it. I've got it. Okay. We're going to give him wild hair just because. Can't really give him the little fuzzy moth antennas. So we're gonna do this in spirit. We're gonna change the eyes though, because Mothman actually looks fairly similar to the Moktaw in this world. So there we go. There's a good nose placer. Here we go. Mothman in spirit. Hanging out in the window. I did have a dice game figured out for this. Let me get the dice game real quick while I'm thinking about it. Because I was like, oh, geez, there's so many characters that I got to fill in. So I made a dice game out of it. For this dice game, you need like 5 D6s, a D20, and a D4. That's what I have. And I made a little chart that is not in this sketchbook. It's in a different one. One sec. Stop snagging on the clips. Gosh. Okay. It's in the newest one. You can tell it's the newest one because it's not decorated in stickers yet. Okay. Here we go. I'm going to remove this for a sec so that you can see the chart that I made. Shaboom. I'll see about taking a picture of this and posting it on Instagram and all of my other social media feeds so that you can replicate this. But there's a section for gender, a section for age, a section for build, and a section for background. The D20s are to figure out a trade for the particular NPC that you're drawing. And depending on what number you roll, that can be subcategorized into another D6 table or a D4 table. I broke this down because I was like, I need this so that I can get a good feel for this. And also, I will be using this for the Npc Compendium, which is another project that I'm working on. I'll talk about that a little bit because there's some sketches of characters in this sketchbook that will be making its way into the compendium. So one day I was driving around for a DoorDash. It was a DoorDash shift that I was doing this in. Hi, Bree. Do you want to get on stream? She's on her perch and she's sniffing my stuff. Hold on. Hi, baby. You want to get on camera? You've been awfully snuggly today. Oh, I know. You don't like to be picked up. Oh. This is the resident cryptid and inspiration for Brie Brie Boutique. This is Brie Brie. She barely tolerates being held. She only tolerates it from me because I am her favorite human. But you get so many snuggles. Okay, I'll put you down. Oop. Okay. But yeah, that was primary inspiration for Brie Brie Boutique. Brie Brie on camera just now. Right, we were talking about the NPC Compendium. So I was driving around on a DoorDash shift, and I came up with this idea that would be an utter lifesaver for the game masters out there who are putting together campaigns, but don't have the time or energy to populate particular like encounters with just regular old NPCs. And there's only so many times that you can pull like a town guard out of your butt. So I was like, you know what? How about I just make a book full of non-player characters for GMs game masters to reference. So they can open it up to a random page and boom, there's a character that they can pull out of a hat whenever an encounter kind of happens. Like if a character is like, if one of the player characters is like, I want to talk to the nearest person next to me, you can just open to a random page and boom, there you go, random character. Some characters I've already drawn. I need to come up with Ben, I have lots of town guards in my butt, thank you very much. I mean, I could pull them out too. Everybody's got town guards up their butt, but it'd be nice to pull out something different, you know? Yeah, Bri is a very cute kitty. She really does not like to be held, but she is a very cute kitty. There will be times, though, where she does want to be held. They're few and far between, but she does have her moments of wanting to be snuggly. Characters for the character compendium, right? So I already drew a couple. Like there's this guy here. He will be making it into the character compendium. He's gonna be kind of a low-level aspiring wizard type. The first book is going to be for encounters with player characters who are between levels 1 and 5. So we're going to go like basic for the first round. So this guy is going to be like an encounter for when the characters are at like level 3 or higher-ish. But yeah, he's going to be a wizard type. For each of these characters, I'm going to do super duper basic stat blocks. Like the core 6 for Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition, I'm not going to get into their backgrounds or any skills or feats or anything like that. For these characters, for the NPC Compendium, I want to keep it simple. And also, I just want these to be jumping off points for the game masters. Like if the game master wants to take this particular character design and go in a different direction with it, they can totally do that. These are just jumping off points. But I wanted to put these into a book to get the creative juices flowing. You know what I mean? This is the same reason why I put my Inktober sketches into sketchbooks, so that creative types can just open up the sketchbook to a random page whenever they need some creative juices. I also did this character. I love her. She will be making it into the character compendium. She is a delight. I may do all of the sketches like this, where it's just like 2 different types of pencils, the blue pencil and I think it's an HB. This was a pencil that I was gifted from Kickstarter when I went to Small Press Expo. They gave me a like care package. It had this, a sketchbook, 2 bottles of water, and 2 kind bars, which was very nice. It was very nice of them to give me that. Kickstarter was actually sponsoring Small Press Expo the year that I went. That was apparently, did not find this out until much later. That was around the same time that their workers were trying to unionize. And I did not hear about this until the convention that I went to the weekend after Small Press Expo. So that was a little awkward. I can still remember talking with some friends of mine who or acquaintances. I don't know if we would necessarily be friends, but we were acquaintances. We met at AwesomeCon first, and then we met up again at Flaming River Con. I have thoughts on Flaming River Con, but yeah, I went to Flaming River Con and I met up with some old table neighbors from AwesomeCon, and we talked about it, and I did not find out about the Kickstarter unionizing fiasco until I was talking with them about how it was really nice to get a care package from them, and they were really, really awkward about it. And that's when I found out. So that was not a great weekend. Not enough flames? Sure. Sure. We'll say it that way. Flaming River Con was not super duper well organized. I'll say that. Like, I went the day of and I showed up And then I asked, so where's my table? And the organizers went, we didn't know you were coming. And I went, but we coordinated by email. I paid the table spot and everything. What the heck? But apparently they did not receive my table payment. They didn't know that I was coming. And they only figured out a spot for me at the last minute because I had showed up already, and it was like a 2.5 hour drive for me. It's not a great start. To that end, don't know if I would ever go back there, honestly. Like, and it sucks to say because it is an LGBTQ con. Like that's one of the big reasons why it's called Flaming River Con, because flaming LGBTQ, and I wanted to show my support, but they're not terribly organized. So, yeah. But thinking about Cleveland area conventions, if it is safe to return to Genghis Khan, I would love to return to Genghis Khan because every year that I go there, I have a great time. Which, when and if it's safe to go, things are getting safer. I actually get my second shot next week, so I'm looking forward to finally getting that done. All right, back to drawing. I'm going to draw a little bit more, and then we'll see about wrapping up the stream afterwards. Okay, we're gonna need some more people. Let me take care of this guy. This guy's looking awkward. Let's make this character that he's interacting with a purpley, an indigo color. Oh, hey, actually, this would be a good time to roll up a character. So let's get that chart back up. Okay, we're going to roll for gender here first. So we are drawing a trans man who is 19 to 29 years old, who is a chonk, like a chonky figure, from a low middle background. Okay, so we are drawing a 19 to 29-year-old trans man who is a chonky boy from a low middle background with a medicine background. Okay. Actually, that could be this guy right here. So let's just add a little more. Add a little more meat. He kind of needs a neck, though. So I'm going to move the head up a bit. And we're going to move this leg. That was one thing we added to the character builder for Neverending, was we actually added some plus size figures. Because plus size people can be heroes too in character builders. Because you never know who is going to play a sumo wrestler type and or a professional wrestler type and or any other type that requires a big figure. Because people seem to think that only fat and lazy people are big and fat. But have you ever seen a dad bod? Or as the LGBTQ community calls them, bears? Like, those guys are lumberjacks. Like, lumberjack build. Thicker thighs and chonkier legs. So then you're going to need bigger gut. Ooh. There we go. I also have it in the world of the Legend of Jamie Roberts that the locals, the men, wear kilts. Because if there's any one thing that I am playing around with in the world of Jamie Roberts, it is gender expectations and how those wildly differ between cultures. Let's thin out the calves a wee bit here. There we go. We'll actually change his arm placement here. There we go. That's better. Clean this up a bit more. Yeah, that's much better. I also added chunk to the character randomizer list because I want to get better at drawing plus size figures. And I can only get better at it when drawing them over and over again. All right. Medicine person. So I was thinking, okay, what's the cultural signifier of a medicine person for Maliwe and its surrounding neighborhood? Okay. Since this scene is a big event, why not have someone off in a corner with an easel painting the crowd? That's actually a really good idea. I think I'm going to do that really quick while that's fresh in my mind. We'll put that person over here-ish. Let me get their stats figured out. So this person is a dude. It's a little young. Okay, so a teenage dude with an easel who is also a chonk. Okay, so we're getting a chonky teenage dude sitting and drawing stuff. We're actually going to put him on the steps, I think. That way he doesn't have to bring his own chair. Nah, we're going to bring that up here-ish. And we're going to make him a lefty. There needs to be more left-handed representation here. Because Jamie's right-handed. Not a lot of figures are left-handed. And I want to fix that. Okay, there we go. There were some other comments here. Can you show us how rolling for gender works? I've done D6, 1 to 2 male, 3 to 4 female, 9 to 6, 9 binary, but would like to get more nuanced. Okay, so what I did with mine was I actually have 6 be a roll again, but I have number 1 as non-binary, number 2 woman, number 3 man, number 4 trans man, number 5 trans woman. And I put it that way because in Korth society, there's broadly speaking 5 genders. And those are the genders that I just named. Though, yeah, broadly speaking, there's 5 genders. Because lefties are better ease. I'm left-handed and always approve of more lefties in media. Also, my roommate Alex is left-handed. So I am surrounded by left-handed people. So there we go. Left-handers. Yeah, chonky teenage boy. I'm going to move the head over a little bit. There we go. There we go. Yeah. I'm going to get back to this figure and finish out this figure because I'm not done yet. So this person is going to be a roll again. Another trans man who is yeah, I can shrink that down. Ages 0 to 13. So we're going to have this person be like 11 or 12. There we go. Easy enough. I'll fix the head placement too, because kids don't have super long necks. There we go. So yeah. Tweeny trans dude. Unhealthily thin. From a wealthy background. Okay. Thin out the chest a little bit then. And also because this person's not quite backward facing, but more almost 3/4 view. Oh, right, I was going to add these. There we go. And then there's some tattoos here. Yeah, there we go. Whoop. Bit of a glitch there. There we go. Bit of a collar situation going on here. And we'll angle this head up higher so that it looks like this kid is talking to the trans medicine man. There we go. Yeah, when it comes to if you want to roll up particular genders, just keep in mind like how many genders are in your society. Like I said, Korath society has technically 5 genders. 3 of them are considered under the same umbrella, but broadly speaking, 5 genders. If you're talking about drawing from a real world society, that requires a little bit more research. One of us. Still talking about lefties, I see. My wife, ex-wife, mother, and grandfather are lefties. I've also had friend, coworkers, and managers that are lefties. Curious how many people in my life have been left-handed. It's a magnet. It's a magnet situation. Oh, talking about the unhealthily thin. Picky eater. Yes, we're going to say that. This particular wealthy, unhealthily thin trans boy is a very picky eater. We'll say that. And we'll say that this particular character is picking up something from the medicine person. We'll say it's a jar of some sort. Okay. There we go. Okay. I'm probably going to go for another 20-ish minutes, and then I'll wrap up the stream. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's going to be happening now that I've got the free time to do it, since I'm not working at Neverending anymore. That said, I still, because convention season hasn't completely recovered yet, I'm still doing Instacart and DoorDash, unless or until I get some other freelance work, which CB and I have been talking, and there may be some other projects from the 2 of us on the horizon. We've been talking about getting back to Tiny Unicorn for a while, so that's definitely on the horizon. Had to sip my tea, and I'm going to be very noisy and have a bite of this egg roll. I'm getting kind of peckish. Okay. Excuse me. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff. I'll probably make like a master list and put it up on my blog as like accountability, so that y'all can keep me accountable for all the stuff that's going on. Because we've got, well, right now we've got The Legend of Jamie Roberts still going. I'm going to try to build the buffer back up over the next few days. We also got Mr. Dino and Friends coming to Instagram and Redbubble. We got Brie Brie Boutique resuming its schedule, modified a little bit. We've got the NPC Compendium. I will be posting sketches of that across all of my socials. And then there's still stuff going on with coffee. Ko-fi? Coffee? I'm going to say coffee, because the concept was buy me a cup of coffee, so coffee. Ko-fi. Still updating that on a regular basis. And there's still commission slots available, including being able to buy a spot for yourself to get drawn into a crowd scene of The Legend of Jamie Roberts. Trust me, there will be plenty of crowd scenes. So if you don't make it into today's episode, you will make it into the next one. There will be plenty. We're having this next bunch of pages happen in the middle of an apple festival with people from like neighboring towns coming in to celebrate. So it's going to be populated. And the reason I'm putting so much effort into this particular page is because this is the establishing shot. This is the establishing shot for the next 4 or 5 pages. There's a lot. Also, while I'm thinking about it, I almost forgot to add, I need to draw this on a different layer. Whoop. Nope. Whoop. Nope. Whoop. Ah! Eventually I'll get, yes, okay. There we go. Because lanterns. I almost considered making a custom brush to make this easier to draw, but that would have gotten too finagly, so this is fine. This is fine. It's fine. This is fine. See, it's fine. There we go. Okay. Got that line of lanterns going. Come on. There we go. Because this scene, on top of it being a crowd scene, is going to take place at night. So there will be lighting effects. Oh, the things I do to myself. Oh, geez. Okay. So we got those lanterns. We got that. We've got a string of lanterns going on in the background over here. We're going to put some lanterns here-ish. Whoop. Try that again. Whoop. There we go. Yeah. Okay. And some lanterns over here too. Whoop. Yeah. Okay. So we got that. Whew. You know what? We need a lantern bearer in the middle of this crowd. So we'll put that person about here-ish. Make this a heavier person while I'm looking at it. Boom and boom. Okay. That works. I'm gonna. Oh, I put that on the wrong layer. Joy. Okay. This is an instance that I don't think I can necessarily copy paste. Nope, I can't copy paste, so I'll just draw on top. That's fine. Not going to replicate all the lines, but I'll go ahead and get this. While I'm looking at it. Boop. Clean that up a little. Boom. There we go. Okay, lantern bearer, done. Yep, okay. That's a little bit better. We're gonna erase the couple of the brown smudges. Brown smudges are like background characters, like the sub background characters. I'm not too worried about how these people that are like the brown blurry ones, I'm not too concerned about how they're going to turn out, because once this gets into print/web, a lot of detail is going to get lost. So not too concerned. Did you hand draw all those symbols on the wall, or is that another brush? Oh, you're talking about this over here. I hand drew all of this because I drew that before I figured out how to make custom brushes. But since you brought that up, I'm going to see about making that a custom brush. Yeah. So that may be the thing that I use as the basis for the tutorial next week. Is just, let's make a brush out of the handwriting on the wall. That way I don't have to replicate it all the time. I did not hand draw for this page. I actually have a master file of this facade of the chief's home in Maliwe. And the facade of the chief's home has this handwriting on it. The master file is a larger file, so I can just select what I need to, copy, and then paste it into the page that I'm working on and adjust the size. And then I can also adjust the perspective as needed. And I'm going to have to do that for this door here. There we go. Which will affect the gate just a smidge. And because I don't necessarily feel like drawing a straight line, I'll just have a tool do that for me. Boom, there we go. Done. Okay, so we got all that squared away. Yeah, honestly, Clip Studio Paint is like, once you figure out some of these, secret tools, it honestly makes making stuff so much easier. Now, there are some tools that apparently Photoshop has that Clip Studio Paint does not, but I have not worked with Photoshop in ages, so I do not know what those tools are. But there is one that comes to mind. Clip Studio Paint does not have a easy to use mesh transformation tool. So you do have to finagle it a little bit in Clip Studio. I will not get points for that. Otherwise, there is a lot that Clip Studio can do that's so much nicer on your hard drive than Adobe. Alternatively, you could make a font, even if you just type gibberish or lorem ipsum, it could work. I don't entirely know how to make fonts in Clip Studio, or make it a custom font and lorem ipsum it up. Like I said, I don't know how to make fonts in Clip Studio, if you can even do that. I feel like that's something that you can do in Illustrator, which I do technically still have Illustrator. I had to have an Illustrator subscription for working with Neverending. And the reason for that is because we needed Illustrator to be able to convert our images into SVG format, and Illustrator is really the best tool to do that with. It's still a massive pain in the butt, though. Would not recommend working with Illustrator if you can help it. But there are ways to make Illustrator a little bit more tolerable if you do have to work with it. Because kudos and shout out to Jeff from Neverending on the art team. He figured out a lot of secrets for working with Illustrator to make it a little bit more tolerable and faster. To Jinx, yeah, because you two had the same idea of making a custom font and then just lorem ipsum. I will probably not do that. I'll just make a custom brush because I know how to make custom brushes. Okay, let's roll up one more character. So this character that we're going to draw next is a non-binary 19 to 29-year-old with a lumberjack build from a poor background who is a farmer. Okay, so a non-binary 20-something lumberjack farmer. Okay. We'll have that person about here-ish. Let's work with, let's see, we got a lot of red and blues over here. So let's do like a teal brush, mix it up a bit. We'll give you more of a lantern jaw. Because this is something that I feel like people tend to forget a lot with regards to non-binary people. Non-binary people can be assigned male at birth. I know that a lot of the time when people hear, if they are inclined to even think about non-binary people at all, they tend to think of like twinks. Itty bitty teeny tiny, like AFAB people. But non-binaries can also come in AMAB, assigned male at birth. And AFAB is assigned female at birth. For folks who do not know what those initialisms stand for. They're pronounceable, so they're acronyms. That's the difference, is if you can pronounce the initials as a word, that's an acronym. If they are initials and you have to say each individual letter, that's an initialism. Fun fact for you. I'm going to flip the canvas, make sure that I get this hand right. Here. Now, I had mentioned before that the people who live in the cities of Korath, broadly speaking, the men wear kilts, the ladies wear proper pants. So to indicate that this assigned male at birth person is non-binary, we are going to have them in pants. And speaking as somebody who started a box garden recently, pants are really the best way to move about in a garden. And yes, I started a box garden recently. My roommate, Alex, her parents let me set up a box garden on their property. So now we have a lot of vegetables planted because it's primarily a vegetable garden. So we got 3 different types of tomatoes. We got 2 different types of cucumber. We got spinach. We got zucchini. We got carrot, green onion, and candy onion. And also red pepper and red bell pepper and green bell pepper. Those are all planted. So far, they're doing okay. Though I have noticed it could be just something in the air because all of the plants that I've been working with and a lot of the plants at the local greenhouses, a lot of them are getting yellowing leaves. So that's concerning. I did get a jar of lime powder. Lime is actually a really good way to help balance out acidic soil. So if the leaves are kind of yellow, that means the soil is just a little bit acidic. So get some lime powder on there. Literally made of flannel. Yeah, we're going to, you know what? We're going to have flannel pants. Why not? We're going to have flannel pants here. Stripey, stripey, stripey. And stripey, stripey, stripey. Just to get the idea across. I'll figure that out later. And we're also going to give this person a beard because non-binary people can come in bearded form. Yeah, there we go. Shaboom. Okay. I have a coworker friend that is assigned male at birth, but is trans femme non-binary. Yes, absolutes. Represent. To be 100% honest, before I got to know openly non-binary and trans people, I also tended to think of AFAB only. I know better now. The important thing is to be able to expand your horizons, expand your horizons without judgment and without judging yourself too poorly for what you've thought in the past. It can be really hard. I get it. I get that it can be really hard for people to like come across these new terms and then be like, oh, okay. Now I'm really ashamed that I didn't think of this before. Like, I'll say it right now. As a non-binary person, there is no shame if you did not know about this stuff before. The important thing is that you have a willingness to learn. That's the most important thing. You have a willingness to learn and you have the willingness to forgive yourself for not knowing the stuff before. Because there's a lot of stuff. And there's a lot of terms that are like new and kind of exciting to learn about the more that you get to know this stuff. The important thing is to like not judge yourself too harshly and to actually be excited for learning some new stuff. Yeah, it's actually, I feel like it's a little appropriate that this non-binary AMAB person is standing next to this person because this person right here with the little buns is a little trans girl from a wealthy background who's probably not encountered a farmer before. So I felt like it was appropriate to put these two next to each other. There we go. I just realized what time it is. So I'm going to start wrapping this up now because I'm hungry. I need lunch and I need a break for my throat. So thank you all for joining me. I know that there was a lot that I talked about this stream, and I'll write up a blog post to talk about some of the highlights that I've talked about. You can watch this later, archived here on YouTube. It will also be archived on my website, kelseydcrawford.com. Just going to catch up on comments really quick. It really helps to know someone. That's one of the reasons I'm openly transgender. Then people know someone and have to think about it. It also takes too much work to bother hiding it. Fact, honestly. Like, that's one of the reasons I've stopped, like, as often as I can, I try to, like, say to people, hey, refer to me as they, them. That way they actually know somebody who goes by they, them pronouns, and it makes them, like, it keeps them on their toes, but it also just helps to openly acknowledge that, hey, you do in fact know a trans person or a non-binary person. Next time on Dragon Ball KelC, I will be doing a tutorial of all of the tips and tricks that I have come across for Clip Studio Paint. Eat food is good. Yes, it is very good. I still have some leftover egg roll that I can finish off. It has been an awesome stream as always. Thank you. And thank you all for joining me for this stream. Also, thank you for all of your feedback for, like, people to squeeze into the crowd scenes. I will keep fleshing out the crowd scenes to the best of my ability, but then I'm going to actually start properly working on this, like inking in everything and coloring and everything here soon. Like I said, there was a lot that I announced for this stream. Next episode, Frieza defeated. No, it has to take 5 gosh dang episodes to get to that point. Don't you know your Dragon Ball Z, sir? Read the manga. It's better than the anime. There, I said it. Okay. Yeah. Before I start falling down the rabbit hole of Dragon Ball Z, I'm just going to wrap this up here. So I know I threw out a lot in this stream. If you want to rewatch it, this will be archived on YouTube and on my website. I will also be putting together a playlist of all of the interviews that I did for Less Than Secret Decrypted Anthology. Because I forgot to do that. I will be doing that in the next couple of days. I'm also going to see about putting together another playlist on my YouTube channel for like artist chats that I've done, and another playlist that is just all of my art streams. So yeah, I'm going to put together proper playlists on my YouTube channel so that you've got ready to access content. Oh God, I can't believe I just said the C word. Oh, catching up with comments. Also, being disabled, I appreciate the person in the wheelchair. I have to use one sometimes. Well, I was looking at the crowd scene, and I had rolled up a character that was like a 80-year-old landlord who was a little on the unhealthily thin side, and I'm like, this person's going to be in a wheelchair. So I drew the person in a wheelchair because that made sense to me. I will see about adding a couple more wheelchair users. And I do have one figure. He's in the back here. He's using a cane. This is actually a 80-plus-year-old trans man teacher using a cane. Because accessibility is important, you know. Next episode, Frieza defeated, but that's still the joke. Yeah, that's fair. There's a lot to joke about with that series. It started out as a comedy. Okay. But yeah, I'll be fleshing out this crowd scene a lot more after this stream, but I think now is a good point to wrap it up. If you would like to find out more about me, including my webcomic, The Legend of Jamie Roberts, which is the page, this page is what I'm drawing for right now. You can find that in my linktree /KelCD. There's a link also in the doobly-doo. That link tree has all of my links. It has The Legend of Jamie Roberts, Brie Boutique, my website, my coffee, and I still have 4 commission slots available. Because I counted up all the commission requests between the Kickstarter campaigns, and I had one person buy a crowd spot already. So if you would like to get drawn into the crowd, check out my coffee for more information. It's in commissions. There we go. Also, check out my blog. I'm going to see about putting an RSS feed subscriber thing on there because I know there are some people who still use RSS readers. Bless you. bless you for using those. But I will be updating my blog much more consistently because of all of these projects going on at once. I would like you all to hold me accountable for all of these. And I would love to keep updating you on how things are going. So I will be blogging a lot more often on kelseydcrawford.com. Link in the link tree in the doobly-doo. That's all I've got for today, I think. I'm going to log off, get some more hot tea for my throat, and get some proper lunch. Shout out to Ben and Jessica and Carlos and all of y'all who have been watching. Thank you so much for watching. I will catch you on the replay. Expect another live stream from me next week, 1 p.m. Eastern Dated Time. You know, I almost forgot to mention a couple of other creative projects that I'm a part of, but I may have to shout those out next week. As a teaser, podcasts, because there's a couple of podcasts that I've been talking with about co-hosting with. I'll talk about those another time. That's all I've got for now. Thank you so much for watching. You are awesome.